Hello, welcome to Inside Network Marketing. I'm Len Clements, and I know this is only, I think, my second video blog that I've done so far, so I wanted to kind of set the tone here a little bit and explain to you that, rather than providing commentary on or critiques or my opinions of various MLM programs out there, and just tell you what I think of it, or if it's legal or whatever. I want to kind of focus on providing you with the tools for you to kind of do your own proper due diligence, to be your own MLM watchdog or authority or, your organization's resident MLM guru or whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to do that by first beginning with a series of 4 video blogs. One first dealing with illegal pyramid schemes and how to define those and detect those and distinguish them from legitimate network marketing programs. Then secondly, I'll do a video blog on Ponzi schemes, which are very legally and structurally different than pyramid schemes. And then securities, or specifically unregistered or illegal offerings of securities and what defines those. And then the 4th video in the series will actually kind of be a recap of all of that by using Zeek rewards as a case study. And I think it's a great case study in this case because when the SEC and the Department of Justice in this case, and also the Secret Service, I think, was involved, when they shut down Zeek rewards, they hit them with all 3. All right, it was they got the hat trick. Right? They hit the trifecta. They call them an illegal pyramid scheme, a Ponzi scheme, and an unregistered security. So I think that would make a great case study, and I'll give some other examples in that 4th video as well, where you can actually look at actual situations in history to kind of look at why they were determined to be pyramids or Ponzi's or securities or whatever. So let's begin this first segment by talking about what is an illegal pyramid scheme. What defines an illegal pyramid scheme as opposed to a legitimate network marketing company? It's not what most of you think it is, especially people that are new to the business. A lot of people think it's as simple as you have to have a product. As long as you have a product, you're not an illegal pyramid scheme, because pyramid schemes don't have products. That's absolutely not true. In fact, some of the biggest pyramid schemes in history, or at least companies that were shut down as such, had very good products. Equinox was a company here in Las Vegas a few years ago that was shut down by 15 state AGs and the FTC as an illegal pyramid scheme. They had great products, a variety of very good quality products, consumable products, hard goods, and so forth, yet they were still a pyramid scheme. Jewelway, another example. Their jewelry was perfectly fine jewelry. It was a good product, yet they were still deemed a pyramid scheme at one time. So it's more than just having a product. What it really boils down to is something that's really very simple. The motive for buying the product. And we know this because the FTC has actually specifically said this in a letter to the DSA back in 2004, I believe it was. And which a copy of that is on the MarketWave website in the research links. And what they said there was that we don't care what percentage of your product is purchased by distributors. Okay, there isn't a 50% rule or a 70% rule or anything like that. I'll do a whole video blog specifically on the 70% rule at some other time. But the point right now is they don't care what percentage of product is purchased by distributors. They care about the motive for buying the product. Are you buying the product because you actually want it and you would have purchased it anyway, even if there were no income opportunity involved? Or are you buying the products just as a token act to meet a quota in a compensation plan? Are you purchasing those products just to participate in the income opportunity, or primarily to do that? So that's why, for example, like in Equinox, they said, well, this is a pyramid scheme because people would buy in for $5,000, $20,000, sometimes over $100,000 of products, not because they really wanted that much vitamins and shampoo and water purifiers, but because that's what everyone did to make money signing other people up for tens of thousands of dollars worth of products. So we went again to the motive for buying the product. So make sure you understand that distributors absolutely can be customers. In fact, several states have specifically rang in on this as well too. As long as the distributors themselves are buying the product because they actually want it, because of the intrinsic value of the product, then it's perfectly fine. So in a legal pyramid scheme, if someone's buying a product primarily because they have to buy that product to participate in the income opportunity, even if it's not a required purchase. They could say, well, as an option, you can get on auto ship for $100 a month. It's optional. But I would never have bought $100 worth of these products if not for needing to qualify in the income opportunity. Then that could still be a pyramid scheme. Now, if a tiny little percentage of distributors are doing that, but most of them are buying the product because they actually want it, then it's fine. So again, what ratio of distributors are actually buying the product with a pure motive, a genuine product value motive, that does matter. But the point is they can be distributors buying the product. That's not a problem. It doesn't have to be sales to outside customers. So there is no, like I said, there's no 50% rule. How that came up was, and it's the reason why the letter to the DSA was written by the FTC, is because a few years ago, companies like Five Star Auto Club, Jewelway, some others, they were hit by the Federal Trade Commission for being pyramid schemes. A temporary restraining order was issued, and they had to temporarily shut them down. And they made a bunch of changes, and in the case of Jewelway, the TRO was lifted, and they were back in business. So, but the rule was, they said, okay, you can get back in business as long as 50% of all of the products are sold to non-distributors, people not participating in the income opportunity. That was kind of the line in the sand that they drew. Now, that was kind of scary because if you apply that to every network marketing company out there, I don't know, probably most of them wouldn't be able to meet that criteria. So they seemed kind of ominous at the time. So the DSA asked the FTC for some guidance. They said, is this the line in the sand now? Do you want 50% of all the product to go to non-participants, people who are not distributors? And they wrote back, and as you'll see in the letter, they very clearly said, we don't care what percentages, I'm paraphrasing of course, but what percentage is purchased by distributors, we care about the motive. And they specifically said, these were actions against specific companies. There were exceptionally bad players in the space, we kind of threw the book at them, and this is not representative of the current state of the law. They were very clear on this. This is not what we expect all companies to do. These were just specific responses to these companies. So no, absolutely, we don't think everybody should do 50%. Getting back to motive. So they couldn't have been clearer about that. Again, the 70% rule, that's not even a law. That's an old Amway safeguard from the FTC sued Amway for being a pyramid scheme in 75. They fought it. Amway won and were found to be a legal business operation in 79. One of the things that helped them convince the courts of that was that they had this 70% rule, which says 70% of all of your previously purchased product must be sold, consumed, sampled. You have to do something with it. You can't just let it stack up in your garage. You can't just be buying it to qualify and have it just mount up in a big pile. So it was to avoid stockpiling of products and the big front loading of products up front. That safeguard was in place, but it absolutely did not require that 70% of the product be resold to non-distributors. In fact, Amway specifically said resold at wholesale or retail. And back in the day, in the 70s, when computers weren't handling all of this, you paid downline commissions by buying the product, reselling it to the next level down. Then they sell it to the next level down and take a cut. They sell it to the next level down and take a cut. So when Amway referred to reselling it at wholesale, they were specifically referring to the reselling of product to other distributors, not outside customers. And the court recognized this as a good safeguard to prevent stockpiling. It had nothing to do with a rule about how much needs to be retailed, as some anti-MLM critics out there will have us believe and have actually written. It's absolutely not true. So again, this has to come from the vast majority, if not all, income sources. If a company says, well, yeah, we're paying commissions on sales aids or distributor training, which only distributors would ever purchase, anything that's just distributor-centric should never be commissioned, like sales aids, business building tools, distributor training. Only distributors would buy them. If you're commissioning anything only a distributor would buy, that's very indicative of what might be declared an illegal pyramid scheme. Because again, you have to recruit to make money, because only the recruits are purchasing these products. So obviously that takes that applies to sales aids and things like that. Now, if a company says, well, yeah, we're doing that, but most of our commissions are coming from our juice or our vitamins or whatever. telling legal authorities that, yeah, we're doing something illegal, but look at all the legal stuff we're doing, probably won't work. Okay, that's not a very good legal defense strategy. All aspects of your compensation plan should not be illegal. Nowhere in your compensation plan should you be paying commissions on anything only a distributor would purchase. Everything that is commissionable should be something that has real world value to a non-distributor, that realistically would and is being purchased by someone strictly on the intrinsic value of the product. Now, people will say, yeah, but look at these juice companies selling $35 bottles of juice. Obviously, they're just buying it because they need to qualify in the plan. Yeah, well, talk to some of those people. Some of those people are so overzealous, almost to a fault, in their devotion and their excitement about their product and all of the great benefits they're receiving from it. No, there's a lot of people out there buying that product because they actually want it. They're in love with their products. So again, as long as they're buying it because of a pure motive and not just to qualify in the compensation plan, good products. If you have products, but most distributors are primarily buying it, or even any kind of significant percentage of distributors are buying it just to qualify, they otherwise would not have purchased it, then it could be a pyramid scheme. And clearly that applies to anything that only distributors would buy, like sales aids and training and distributor kits and websites, back office fees. None of that stuff should ever be commissionable. So there again, that is the distinction. That's what defines an illegal pyramid scheme as opposed to a legitimate network marketing company. Look at the motive for buying the products or services and everything that's commissionable, not just one particular income source. All right. Again, the next video is going to be about Ponzi schemes specifically, so look for that one coming up. And in the meantime, just remember, if you go through your MLM career with blinders on, sooner or later you're going to get blindsided.